whatever the case may be. All right, let's get it started. Hi everyone, my name is Krissy McNeely and I am the owner and founder of Zoe Life Academy. I am a fervent advocate, love, education, advocacy, everything of the like. In tonight's topic, we are talking about anger and help. What do we do with anger? As parents and caregivers, it is a very natural thing to get angry. It's a way of life, right? So tonight we're going to talk about what is anger, and then we're going to talk about tips and strategies to manage anger in everyday life with everyday instances. So the first disclaimer that I always want to share is none of us will get it right 100% of the time. Even with myself, like I get angry. I'm not explosive anymore. I used to be, as when I was younger. I was that kid in class, like if I got mad, I just lost it. But I'm not that way anymore. But parenting approaches, different things like that, they are on a continuum. It's a process, right? We are learning constantly, getting new information. Even our children and the people that we serve is constantly changing. So our approaches have to shift. So the fact that you're listening, the fact that you are seeking out information, that's good, right? That means you love them. So I don't want you to feel, if you get angry, that you don't love your child or you don't care about your child. No, that's the complete opposite. A lot of times when we get angry at people, children, whatever, it's because we do care and we are invested and we do love them. So today we're going to start with anger and understanding what anger is. So I've done some research, as you know, and I really enjoyed this article and this information provided by the Center for Parenting. And this information can be found online or anything like that, but it was really good, and it talks about anger, and it has a really helpful acronym. So the A, anger is a feeling. It is something that we feel. It's like joy, it's like boredom, it's like excitement, it's like fear. It's something that we feel. So it cues us and lets us know our emotional state of what we're experiencing, what around the world we're taking in. So something around us, something that is happening is triggering something inside of us, right? So if we're at Disneyland, or if you're like me, you are in bed early watching The Big Bang Theory and you have a good snack, I am happy, I am content. What's triggering that? It's Big Bang. I love Big Bang. Sheldon is like hilarious, and it's that snack, right? You know, you shouldn't be motivated by food, but I am. I love food. I'm a foodie. So it's a feeling, okay? That is A. Anger is a feeling. N, it is not good or bad. So I want to debunk the myth that anger is bad. No, anger is a feeling. Anger is natural. It's not good, nor is it bad. What makes it bad is how we respond. The difference is what we do with anger, which is what makes it bad or not, right? So G, we have A, anger is a feeling. N, it's not good or bad. G, we want to gain insight. We want to scratch beneath the surface of why we are angry. Many times anger passes as another emotion. So it could be sadness, it could be jealousy, it could be hopelessness, it could be boredom, it can be that you feel overlooked or disappointed or tired and exhausted. Anger can trigger, but the true feeling is under anger, right? So anger is like one of those emotions that are easily seen. And the other emotions like sadness and disappointment and stuff aren't as easily seen, but they are easily carried or travel through anger. So you want to gain insight. Why am I angry? What's happening? What's the true emotion? Am I sad? Am I disappointed? Am I hurt? Different things like that. So we have A is anger is a feeling. N, not good or bad. Anger is not good or bad. G, you want to gain insight. E, expression. You want to be sure that you are communicating your feelings to the right person in an accurate manner and avoiding blowing up. You don't want to blow up when you're angry or getting out of control. That is not good. That's not healthy. And R, you want to release. Without expression and actual release of your feelings of anger, that is when we do blow up. It's not effective. So even when we're storytelling, right, or venting, telling somebody else about what's happening, and you get mad all over again. So I'm that sometimes I'll be like, ooh, girl, and let me tell you what she did, and I'm constantly talking about it, and I'm constantly getting angry again, and those emotions are like resurfacing, and it's like I'm experiencing again. That probably means I never released it. That means that I'm still harboring anger, I'm still upset. So as I'm venting and telling my girlfriends or my friends or my family what's happened, I'm like recharging it and rehearsing it, right? So that means that there is a need for release of it. And as tonight we talk about the tips, it can move you from all of that into actual releasing. You can gain some tips. So anger, it's not good or bad, it's an emotion. You want to gain insight. What is the true feeling under it? It's an expression. You want to make sure that you're communicating what you're feeling and then releasing it, okay? So some tips. So you got to notice when you are angry, okay? So how does your body react? Do you clench your teeth? Do you make fists? Do you start hitting walls? Do you twitch? You know what I'm saying? Are you breathing heavily? If you do this, you can, if you know your warning signs, you can catch it while it's small before it explodes, okay? So for me, when I get angry, like I get like an adrenaline rush, like my heart races fast. I'm like looking like, woo, get me a computer so I can write an email, right? I'm that chick. I'm like, I'm gonna call them, I'm gonna let them know I hate injustice. I got to tell them why I'm mad. I need to tell somebody, let them know now, okay? So that's what happens when I'm angry. So I have to, number two, the tip, you wanna calm down. Once you notice those things that are happening, you wanna calm down. You wanna give your time. So what needs to happen is you have to put oxygen back in your brain to reactivate the thinking part of your brain so that you don't see red. My mom and I have a joke, like she's like, "Ooh, girl, I saw red." You know, that's what's happening. You're losing oxygen. You're just like, "Woo, where's red?" You know, like, gotta get them, gotta attack, right? So you want to calm down. And what you may need to do, you may need to visualize. Picture a happy place. Picture someone that you love. Take 5 minutes. Engage in physical activity. If you're like me, I love to box. I love to work out. So if I can get a good workout in or something like that, I'm sorry, I'm looking at this bug and he better not come close. If I can get a workout in, then I'm good. Or you want to repeat a mantra. So this is one of our tips coming in too. You want to say like, okay, anger will not control me. Have a statement, something in place, a plan that will let you know, like, when you do get angry, you're going to repeat this. I'm not going to be controlled by my emotions. I'm not going to be controlled by anger. I do have self-control, something that can kind of trigger you and bring you back, okay? Number three, a tip, you want to consider what is making you angry. Getting to the true feelings and the reasons behind our anger makes a big difference, okay? So what are some things that can make us angry? Unmet needs. So you need to find out what it is you need. So maybe you're tired. Like if you're like me, when Miss Glass is on here, when my best friend Akili growing up, she like, oh, when we used to be at work, she'd be like, did you eat? And I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't eat. And I get hangry. Like my personality, my temperament, when I'm hungry, I don't really function well, okay? So I have to have a snack. I have to eat. I have to, you know, have calories. Otherwise, I'm not that pleasant. So I know that about myself. So when I'm starting to get angry, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Am I hungry? Let me grab some food. Let me get some sustenance, okay? So unmet needs. Or when you are lonely, hey, Miss Glass, or when you are lonely, or when you are extra vulnerable, that could make you, that could be a trigger. Like, okay, I'm vulnerable. Oh my gosh, you know, they see me, and then you lash out. Then you're going off. Okay, so that can be a trigger. Your child's behavior can be a trigger. So you want to learn if your child's behavior when your kid maybe kicks the wall or knock their toys on the floor or do something like that. If that triggers you to anger, you want, one thing that you want to do is maybe research what is realistic expectations. So if your child is 2 or 3 and they're dumping toys, you can learn that that's dump and play is actually a characteristic of toddlers. That's how they play. They pick things up, they dump it on the floor. Whew, fun. Literally, that's how they play. So if they have a dump and play method of activities and stuff, maybe, you know, you can have more sensitivity and more understanding when they dump things on the floor, because that's literally them having fun. So you have the expectation, okay, they're going to dump everything on the floor in 30 minutes, I'll go pick it up. Then you're less angry, you're less apt. Another thing about child's behavior, if that's what makes you angry, your child's behavior, or the behavior of anyone, a key for that is don't take it personal. So if your kid is like acting up in grocery stores and, you know, they're the kid that like falls and has a tantrum, you don't want to take it as a personal attack on you. Maybe they're tired. If you know the kid can be 8 or 9 years old and they're at dinner and they're acting up and talking about their siblings and stuff, and if you knew that an 8 or 9-year-old gets bored after about 30 minutes, maybe they need a break. They need to get up and like go refill their water or go do something differently. If you have that understanding of their development and an understanding of where they are mentally, you won't place an unrealistic expectation. I need you to sit here for 3 hours and be quiet and don't move. Like, that's not fair, right? If they literally only have the attention span physically, you know, biologically for 30 minutes, that expectation may not be fair. So you don't want to take it personal. It could literally just be their capacity at the age that they are. And then if it is an underlying emotion that is making you angry, you want to check in with yourself. You know, how am I feeling? Am I, you know, coming out of a breakup? Am I stressed out because of the pandemic? What's going on that I can meet my own needs? Do I need to go hang out with a friend? You know, just so that you aren't taking it out on your child. This is one good tip that I really love. You want to use an I message to share your feelings. So this is something I do with our kids. They can kind of read me because they know, I don't have kids personally, but the kids that, you know, I service, so they kind of know Miss Krissy. When I'm tired or when, like, my patients, I'm like, all right, I've said it twice. I don't really want to repeat myself. Can you guys pick up the toys, right? So iMessages is 3 parts. It's really, really key and really good to use because it helps parents and caregivers not to shift the blame onto the child for what they're experiencing, but it literally puts actual specifics towards what they're feeling and experiencing, so that the child doesn't feel like they're the one to blame or they're the one taking the brunt of your anger. So I message, it reveals your experience without blaming or shaming somebody else. So it's 3 parts. First part, you say I feel. So if you identified the underlying emotion in the previous step, you can say I feel sad. Second part is when I see or hear. So I feel sad when I see or hear you talk about your siblings and call them names. And then you tell them why. That's the third part. Because it is important to me that everybody feels loved and everybody feels accepted. Okay, so when you use the 3-part I message, so I feel, then you when I see or hear, you want to be descriptive. And then third, because that helps you calm down and it helps them understand actually what's happening. Okay, the I message tells them, and it tells the child what needs to be done to fix the situation, and it's a teaching moment, right? So they can understand too if they are getting angry or if they're bearing the burden of something, or it's something that they're doing that is causing and triggering. They can say, okay, you know what, she doesn't really like when I call them names. I'm not going to do that. So then next time it's a teaching moment, okay? So by showing them how to correct the situation instead of lashing out on them, that's actually leaving their self-esteem intact. Final tips, you want to seek help. You know, if you need therapy, I love therapy. I went to therapy. That's how I became a lot more emotionally intelligent and understanding, and, you know, research and stuff like that. You want to look for underlying issues. What's maybe some things that you have going on personally. You want to direct your anger at the appropriate source. Like we talked about, examine your expectations of your child. Is it reasonable according to their age frame? If your child's a toddler, look up at things like social behavior of a toddler, emotional intelligence of a toddler, developmental levels of a toddler. You want to focus on what's essential. I always tell parents, don't major in the minors. If you know your kid's going to dump everything on the floor, don't go and police every action, right? I pick and choose wisely what I police. Sometimes I'm just like, it's not worth it. I'm just going to let you do you. And then in about 2 hours, I'm going to, you know, restructure everything. I mean, within reason, right? So I'm not going to let them hang and swing on stuff. No, I'm not doing that. Don't pretend that you're not angry when you're actually angry. So like, I'm not mad. That confuses a child. They're like, but you look mad. You kind of clenching your teeth. Well, you know, that, and it's actually teaching them bad practices. So we're not being truthful about our feelings. B, you're confusing. Okay, you're clenching your teeth, your fists are balled, and you're pushing me. I really don't know if you're actually mad or not. Like, I don't get what's happening. So you do not want to pretend you're not angry when you are angry. Okay, you want to be honest. Remember, use that I feel, those I messages. You know, I feel sad when you talk about your siblings, because it's important that all our family members feel good about themselves, okay? You want to give them a remedy. Tell them the information of what they're doing wrong. Don't just scream, push, fuss, and fight without actually talking. Children are intelligent. Sometimes I feel like more intelligent than some adults I know, but that's beyond the point. You want to have a plan. You can think and feel at the same time. I know sometimes people see red and I know they feel like, you know, it's impossible, but no, you can think and feel at the same time. But have a plan for what you're going to do when you're angry. So you can even do, well, that one's coming a little later, but I'll jump around. Create a signal system. So if you say bananas, okay, and all your kids know, uh-oh, she's getting upset. She said bananas. We better go to our room, sit down quietly. And you can even do it just like fire drills. Do drills at home, okay? Tell everybody to run and scream really loud. And then when you scream bananas, they have to calm down, clean up their mess, and go to their room. That gives you time to kind of calm yourself down and remove like whatever the triggers are, figure out what's going on, and develop a plan of action of how you're going to remedy it. Because a lot of times with people, if they don't plan for anger, because anger is natural, right? We're going to get mad. People are going to be pissed. This thing's going to happen. But if you don't have a plan in place, that's when we result to fight or flight, right? We attack or we run. And what you don't want to do sometimes is when you pull away from children in an unreasonable time, I say a few minutes max for young kids, like 5 minutes, because after 5 minutes, they don't remember what they did. They're like, okay, mommy's gone, and something happened. I don't know what happened, you know, and they're looking at milk on the floor, but you disappear for 2 hours. They're gonna be like, okay, now that's like rejection, that's abandonment. Now you have a whole cycle of emotions that you have to deal with afterwards. So if there's an older child, yeah, maybe you could take an hour, come away, you know, regain your feelings, and then come back and talk with that I message. I feel hurt when you do XYZ, or I feel extra exhausted when you pour your milk on the floor, because it's important that our house is clean. So this tells them, I don't really like when you pour your milk on the floor. I feel exhausted when this is happening. It's not that I don't love you, it's not that I hate you, I just feel extra exhausted when you pour your milk on the floor. So I need you to not do, you know, something like that. You want to be reasonable, okay? So create a signal system, create a plan. If your code word needs to be bananas, bananas, okay? Everybody runs, clean up, have a moment to themselves for about 5-10 minutes. You calm yourself, you know, do whatever you got to do. Next one is you can apologize. So as I said in the beginning, no one is going to do this right. No one's going to be 100% perfect. Parenting is a process. It grows and develops with us, and it also grows and develops with our child. So our child changes in different seasons and different processes and stages. So does our strategies need to change. So if you lose it one day, go apologize. This is actually a good teaching tool, because the more emotionally intelligent the adults are, that's what the kid's going to mimic. And if you have anger management plans in place, they're gonna say, okay, I need a plan. And then give them a code word when they're extra mad, apples, okay? So now you know, pull up off of them, give them a moment to rest and relax, and then you come back, okay? Last one, take time for yourself. You know, you have to know what your needs. We talked about knowing your own needs and meeting those needs so that these triggers won't be as triggering when they occur. And just because you're angry does not mean you don't love your child. Let's like scratch that. Just because you're angry does not mean you don't love your child. Children make us angry, situations make us angry, things make us angry. We just have to know how to deal with it. All right, guys, that is it. It is almost, well, it's a little over 5:15. I like to be 15 minutes. Thank you guys for watching. Let us know if you have any topics. We're going to talk about anger management plans for children next time. It'll probably be in a video form with some music and activities, because they're not going to watch a Facebook Live. But if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks. Bye.